Yes, I have time. It's here. It's there's a new mayor in town. Efficient. Everybody's here, so
my other iPad you can use.
My phone got hacked once by somebody. All right. 7 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Let's call the roll.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilcox. That's all.
I almost said here.
Here. Mayor Brown.
Here.
Councilmember Somerville.
Here.
Councilmember Tucson. Here. Councilmember D. Simmons.
Here.
Councilmember J. Simmons.
Here.
Councilmember King.
Here.
With all present, there's a quorum.
All right. Please rise if you're able. Along with that, everybody will begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. I'm a motion for agenda approval with support and supported. Any additions, subtractions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. We're moving. Now's the opportunity for public comment on participation. You'll have 3 minutes to address council. Please come up to the podium, take your name and your address if you're comfortable, and I'll start with the list and then move to Steve Pierce. Good evening.
Good evening. I'll wait till that gets handed out. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Mayor Brown, that sounds pretty good. My name is Steve Pierce, and I live at 118 South Washington. I'm here speaking on behalf of Solar FC. Dave Stransky sadly was not able to make it this evening and asked me to step in. I do have some prepared remarks, but I won't be able to do those all in the 3 minutes. So I've left a copy of the remarks with the clerk. The issue before you this evening is there's been a change recently in the way that the building official is reviewing installations of solar panels here in the city of Ypsilanti. There's been a new requirement, and in the pictures that I provided you there, the city of Ypsilanti is requiring, in its simplest form to describe, a 3-foot border all the way around the solar panels when it's installed on the roof. The city of Ann Arbor is only requiring it to be on 1. And why this is a big deal is we've already had this happen with several installations here in the city of Ypsilanti. On smaller homes, there's not enough roof area. We have a project that was approved that was in Ward 1. And when it went through the review, the plan called out for 18 panels. And because of the requirement of the city, it reduced it to 9. Suddenly the project was not affordable. It doesn't seem like 3 feet as much, but on smaller homes, it really is a huge impact. And where this is really impacting is in my ward, in Ward 1. The Grace Sweeney grant was intended to help people install solar on their homes, especially in Ward 1. The NAACP of Detroit has said that energy independence, especially through solar, is one of the greatest things that can do to keep people in their homes, especially African Americans. And that is my neighborhood, and that is in my ward. And this is impacting my ward especially, and our community. This is not a requirement under BOCA or under any sort of state building codes. It is an interpretation of the building codes with recommendations. And I'm asking it's very unusual to come to council to ask to change the way that we're doing this with building officials, and I understand that. But the city of Ann Arbor is doing this. They've modified this, especially helps with smaller homes. And I hope that the city of Ypsilanti will also do this as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to address council? What a different power. Good evening.
My name is Rex Ritchie. I'm building a depot town, and we're here in respect to the parking issue. And we would just like, I would just like you all to keep an open mind and listen to what's going on. I think we have a pretty good plan. And I think it's going to be easy on everybody. Parking in depot town is vital. As you know, we have the good fortune to be busy, but we need parking to get people in. So I just wanted to reiterate that whole thing and let you know that it's a very, very important issue to us and to our survival. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ritchie.
I'm Sally Ritchie. I have the building in Depot Town also. First of all, I would like to thank the city manager for getting this on the agenda tonight to talk about parking in the city and the DDA working together along with the county. This is really huge. You can get those three parties together to talk about this and try to get it done. I'm hoping that we can move forward. We need parking. It's not only a reflection on Depot Town, but it's a reflection on the whole city. Depot Town is really a destination. And when people come in from other areas and they're trying to park and they're in something that's, you know, got potholes and is not ADA accessible, I would like us to see, you know, putting on a better look for people coming into so we can have a little pride. And we've worked so hard on this and we're so close. So I hope that we can get together and work it out and make it happen and I'll be able to be proud of how it turns out.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address council? Mr. Susan? Good evening.
I'll comply. I received a call today from the family of the young man that was stabbed over 100 times. And they were under the understanding that Detective Lewandowski would continue in the detective department to expedite the closure of the case. But then I guess he is back on the road from what I was told. And council, you guys know, we were up there at that meeting and you guys know that this was nothing but a retaliatory measure. If you do this, then I'm going to do this. We know it was retaliatory, but evidently nobody's done anything about it. And the promise that was made to the people was not fulfilled. Now, with me having over legal redress of the NAACP, we have to write a report, and it's been happening since George Floyd. We have to write a report of what happens in our police department. And the letter, I'm gonna be true, the letter's not gonna be good that I write because things aren't being done the way they should be done. Now, we want to live in a safe city. We want our city to be safe. And we want people to come into our city to be safe. But we cannot have a safe city when we only got one police officer patrolling the whole city. A couple weeks ago, we only had one police officer 2 days patrolling the whole city. Now, I think the city, what needs to happen, and the city manager is the only a person that's over the chief. The acting chief needs to be told, he needs to set an example by doing it himself. When we got a low a police count, these sergeants, these lieutenants, these chiefs, they need to take up the slack. They need to get out there and patrol and do what they're supposed to do because they know we low. But rather than sit up in the office and shine that leather chair with a differential. So I'm hoping that you guys will take into consideration what is before you. You know it's retaliatory, you know it shouldn't have happened, and nobody has addressed it. And when I write the letter, it's gonna be a nasty one.
Would anyone else like to address council? Is there anyone online?
If anyone attending virtually would like to make comment, please raise your hand now. No hands are raised, Councilor.
Thank you. Then we will move into our consent agenda. Member Somerville. Yeah.
Resolution number 2022-266, resolved by the Council of the City of Ypsilanti that the following items be approved. Resolution number 2022-267, approving the minutes of the November 1st, 2022 City Council meeting. Resolution number 2022-268, approving special assessments for the 2022 winter tax bill. Resolution number 2022-269, approving the delegate and alternative for the Washtenaw Regional Resource Management Authority, and I so move.
Support. It's been moved and seconded. Clerk Lane, can you please call the roll?
Mayor Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Somerville,
Yes.
Councilmember Tucson,
Yes.
Councilmember D. Simmons,
Yes.
Councilmember J. Simmons,
Yes.
Councilmember King,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilcoxen.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Resolution 2022-270.
I have that one, resolved by the council of the city of Ypsilanti, whereas the city of Ypsilanti seeks to implement policies that protect the public health and provide for economic prosperity despite the challenging climate for business due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Whereas outdoor dining is recognized as a valuable economic development opportunity that consumers have strongly preferred locally over the last several years. And whereas the sidewalk cafe permits issued in 2022 and regulated by ordinance in the city of Ypsilanti will expire in November unless otherwise extended by resolution. And now therefore be it resolved that the Ypsilanti City Council approves extending the 2022 sidewalk cafe permits to allow restaurants to continue outdoor dining options for patrons until May 2023, once the new application window for 2023 is set to begin. I so move.
Support. Moved and supported. Good evening, Christopher.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. It's good to see some new faces. And for those who aren't familiar, I'm Christopher Jacobs. I'm the Community Development Manager for the city, also the DDA Director. And today I'm kind of wearing both hats because Planning Department regulates sidewalk cafes, and the DDA would like to see us extend the permits in 2022 until the May calendar, and then the new permits will open up then. So this would allow igloos and other outdoor dining options. We only know of one business currently trying to do that. Bobcat Bonnie's downtown. They've done so for about 2 years now, and folks seem to really like it. They're getting a lot of calls. They call their office and they were interested in doing this again. So I thought, hey, let's put it on the agenda and see what council thinks. It's got strong support from the DDA, and I think anything that we can do to help support local businesses in this really challenging time, and we're losing several businesses, you know, that are really beloved of the city, would be a great thing for City Council to support.
Thank you. Questions from council for Christopher? All right, seeing none, Clerk Kalanga. Thank you, Christopher.
Councilmember Somerville,
Yes.
Councilmember Tucson,
Yes.
Councilmember D. Simmons,
Yes.
Councilmember J. Simmons,
Yes.
Councilmember King,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilcoxen,
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right, so listen, y'all, we're moving to, yeah, so we're at board and commission liaison reports. I'll report for Police Advisory Commission, because you haven't been able to attend one yet. The meeting for this month, which is tomorrow, was canceled. And last month's meeting, I reported on that at our October meeting. And, the HRC has not been until they can have quorum. So that is still an ongoing issue. So, Councilmember King, we can talk about how to recruit members, for HRCs, where we can get them meeting again. No problem. Arts Commission.
All right, I don't have any updates from the last meeting. I mentioned that I couldn't attend, so their next meeting will be in December.
Parks and Rec Commission was visited by Evan Sweet, who is not on council, but if there's anything we need to know, just send us an email, we'll report it at the next meeting. Sustainability.
That meeting was last night at the same time as our meeting, so I haven't had a chance to check in with the chair, but we had a resignation of Pete Michalowski, who had been past chair and had been working on that since that inception, I think. The only other thing to report is that, oh, well, they did have a presentation from Summer at the WCCD, the Washington County Conservation District. She'd been trying to do this for a while, and the schedule kept getting complicated, but she also did the presentation at the Whitaker Library last 2 weeks ago on Saturday. And so that is, I'll see if I can get the presentation to come here. I talked to her at the library about presenting that to council as well. So, looking at it.
All right, thank you. HBC. I don't remember who that's me. Yeah, there's something to report. Okay. Planning Commission.
That was a former council member.
O'Brien. And then ZBA was also from our so hopefully, so next month, we'll have some reports on those that were with the previous council members, because everyone should have their commission assignments from last night. Move on to liaison reports, some kind of updates. That was previously the previous mayor. So I don't have one there, but I know that Mayor Patel Wilcoxon will be attending some kind going forward. What?
We actually have a meeting tomorrow, so, but nothing dramatic from the last meeting. Actually, I think they already been.
Oh, yeah. Urban County.
That was
I included under that one.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
There were a couple projects approved for CDBG and other communities, nothing relevant to DFC.
DDA, where
We had a retreat this week and equity committee this morning, and we're making headway on a set of strategic priorities. I hope to share that with council very soon.
I attended that retreat. It was a lot of information, and it was really, really cool to learn about what folks want to do with the DDA. Rutherford Pool.
There hasn't been a meeting. I know that they recently got a small grant. And I'm blanking, I don't have my computer, so I don't have to know what the grant was, but it was about $1,200. Sorry, I'll check in on that and get back to you.
All right, thank you. And Bicentennial.
Yeah, not much of an update yet, but we are working on linking up with Ipsy Real and the CV just to help promotion.
Thank you. All right, so now we're on the council proposed business. We'll start over here. Councilmember Susan, anything tonight?
Nothing at this time.
All right, Councilmember Jay Simmons.
I actually don't think I have anything. I just wanted to say welcome though to the members. Sorry I wasn't able to be here yesterday this morning with y'all, but anyway, welcome. It's nice to see you faces.
Councilmember Somerville.
Yeah, welcome to all the new qualifying council. I just have 2 items. I would like to make some nominations to boards and commissions. So the first one, I'd like to nominate Sean White to the ZBA. If anybody is interested in seconding that, he recently applied for several commissions. So actually, there's only 2 other people here who would have gotten that email.
He was previously nominated for the planning commission, but the mayor had spoken with him earlier today and he wished to rescind that nomination to be a part of the ZBA.
Right.
I mean that. I'll take it.
And let me pull up the application, see if anybody has any questions.
So moved and seconded, any discussion on that or any questions about the nomination? Seeing none, Clerk Kalanga?
This would just be the nomination. The approval would appear on the next
Oh,
agenda.
okay. So we're all set with that one.
Okay, and then the second nomination, actually, I know we just got an email, but, I'd like to nominate Brian Jones Chance to the Planning Commission.
Can do that.
Oh, sorry, I beat you to it. Thank you. All right, so there's no action there. It's gonna go on the next agenda. Anything further for your proposed business? Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Wilcoxen.
Other than Brian Jones Chance, I just want to give an update on the dam. I had a meeting today with Huron River Watershed Council and the engineers that are involved in this from AECOM and Luminotech, and it was a brainstorming session for funding for the grant. As some of you may know, there's a dam risk reduction grant that staff is working with the Watershed Council to get in. The deadline for that is December 5th, and it looks pretty good. That complimented Jeff Irwin's office notifying people. Watershed Council notified too, but there are other grant opportunities, but that grant in particular is significant enough to cover most of the costs of the deconstruction of the dam, which was going to be the largest cost. So right now we're in the process of doing the planning studies. We're in the second phase of that. We have that, and we've got an extension so that next sampling season will exit through October of next year. So we've got funding for that, and then this grant, should we get it, seems like it's a good possibility. That would cover activities for the dewatering and the deconstruction of the dam starting in 2024. So when this goes in, we'll have a better picture of that. There's some other things for other aspects of the grant of the process. There needs to be a muscle survey and relocation, and that is expected to be the most expensive. That would be about $240,000, and I think there's separate grants that will address that. So, and the person who wrote the book on how that works is actually on the restoration committee for this, and so it's a pretty good likelihood that that will go through too.
Thank you. Councilmember Deason.
Yeah, just a couple of quick things. One, I'm really interested in kind of following up or learning more about the solar issue that Steve Pierce brought forward as a person who's currently trying to go through the process to get solar through this grant. So just, you know, whatever, I have some other questions about that, but and then the other thing I should have written them down. The other thing I wanted to mention is just that something I'm also interested in exploring more and thinking about, especially with the changes that have happened in the state legislature, which opens up a lot more possibilities, I think, in terms of things that impact us locally. And one of those issues would be around rent control preemption, and thinking about what we could do around that. So just naming that as something that I'm definitely trying to do some exploration around, and things that folks in the city have brought forward previously. And then the other thing I wanted to, mention is I feel like I just forgot what I was gonna say, so I guess I'll try to come back to it later.
All right, thank you. Councilmember King.
Nothing at this time.
Thank you. Communications from the mayor. Well, again, I just want to welcome and congratulate our new council members and just reiterate how excited I am for us to work together. I really do feel like we are going to do everything like Councilmember D. Simmons was saying, yes, period, so. D. Simmons was saying with the change in the legislature and us, well, Democrats having majority, I think there's a lot of opportunity for the city working with, you know, all of our partners at the state level. So very excited. I think it's a good time for the city. And communications from the city manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Welcome to all of the new council members tonight. I have several things here tonight. First of all, I did receive a request from Mayor Pro Tem Wilcoxon regarding the balance for the Pin and so Reagan is updating our account, and so you should have this week from us. Okay.
Oh, okay. And you sent one this afternoon?
I did.
Oh, he sent one.
But he did tell me he's working on updating just to
okay.
make sure.
Not necessarily. Okay.
Yeah. Second thing, solar. We're going to research those requirements, Mr. Pierce, to see if there's something that could be done. Would you like to say anything about that, Mr.?
Yeah, I have a memo that I can send out from our own official.
Okay.
But actually, can I?
You sure can. You can put personally in.
Good evening, council. I'm sending out an email to you right now. I do have a memo from our building official. There is one community in the state, and they happen to be our neighbor, that has chosen to take a piece of the building code and interpret it the way they feel. But our building official has been very clear and working with our fire chief that it is a fire hazard, what they are doing. So there isn't really a way to take one piece of the building code and throw it away. And so, like I said, a very detailed memo from the expert on this. Council Simmons, I will be more than happy to talk to you about your concerns offline if you'd like, or we can talk now. But there is one, like I said, one community in the state that has said this is how we're going to do it, and our building officials asked them how does that meet the building code, and they said, well, don't look at that. And so we want to make sure that whenever we do something, it's safe, and that we're not going to have to worry about the safety of people. And so while we want to encourage children in every way possible, we just have to make sure that we're following the codes. And so really the main way to actually improve this is to change it in the building code at the state level. We don't have the ability to change the building code at the local level. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so look forward to receiving that email. I'm kind of interested in it myself because I was under the impression that the local code had nothing to do with it. So I'm interested in seeing this. So thank you, Mr. Myers, for bringing that up on tonight. A couple other things. A couple of meetings ago, when we met at the Eastern Michigan University campus, council passed a resolution asking us to negotiate with the merchants of Depot regarding the Frog Island parking lot. And so one of the requirements in that resolution was that we select a negotiations team. Just to bring you up to speed, we have met. We met twice. I didn't make the second meeting today because I had another meeting. But I've been informed that the course of action has changed. Our first meeting, we talked about possibly seeking a SPARK grant to help with improvements of the lot. Well, since then, I've been told that now we're not going to seek that route, that we're just going to try to do the improvements ourselves with funds coming from the DDA. None of that has been solidified as of yet, and also funds from the county. That has not been solidified as yet either, but that was the report that I received. So if we do choose to go that route, we're not in the parking business. We will not have to take anything to the lecture, but we would need is someone to manage the parking at Frog Island. So we are possibly considering entering into a lease agreement. None of this has been worked out yet. And this is where the negotiating team will begin working with the area merchants to come up with an agreement that is suitable for both parties, the city and merchants. So, Madam Mayor, if you don't mind, I'd like tonight for us to select those who would participate on that negotiation.
From council?
Yes, that was the resolution. That was part of the resolution that was passed.
Okay, so we need 3 members, I believe, that
Right.
we discussed from council. So typically when we do things like this, we try to have one person from the board participate, so we have full participation across the city in these big discussions. And so I guess should we do this how we did like for boards and commissions, or?
Well, you formalize it, and the city attorney can correct me if I'm wrong, but formalize it, and it's subject to OMA.
Okay.
So I don't know, you could just have a consensus of who's going to be on it. So.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry. Please. Oh, so what are the, I just want to know, my complex, yeah, what are.
So there wasn't a standing meeting time. It's not my understanding that they're gonna meet every week. Because they had 2 back-to-back meetings, and that's the reason why I wasn't able to attend the other one, but I believe that they will come up with an agreed upon time to meet. That hasn't been settled yet.
No, we're very close.
Okay.
And how many times do we think that we will be meeting? Or
I don't know.
You know, I believe that probably initially it will be to talk about what the plan is and to seek approval, to actually seek things in writing. I think that the next meeting after that will probably take a while because they'll have to do some bonding things. And we'll have to come up with, as staff, we'll have to come up with numbers and things of that nature. Then we'll come back. So do you think about 3 or 4 meetings?
I would be shocked if it went 4.
Okay, so maybe about 3 meetings.
3 or 4 meetings and not necessarily back to back.
Right.
So who's interested?
Steve Wilcoxon.
Okay, so Ward 2, Mayor Pro Tem Wilcoxon, said he's interested. You can do it. Okay.
I'm interested, in Ward 3.
Okay, so Councilmember Somerville, and then, so there's actually 3 of us in Ward 1. I could participate if you would like, if one of you would like to do it, but I would like to be at the negotiating table. If that's okay.
Well, that's 3.
So it'll be myself, Mayor Pro Tem Wilcoxon, and Councilmember Somerville.
Okay. So saying that Councilmember Somerville will be leaving soon, this is good. So you can try to compact it.
The deadline, we'll get it done.
Right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah, thank you.
Further.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And my last comment as to is an update with YPD, just to address and just to update council of what's happening in YPD. YPD is aggressively recruiting. We actually have 2 people that are going to the academy, so they'll be in the hopper. And then we also have just recently hired a former officer from Pittsfield. So we possibly have 2 others coming on. So the issue that we're facing with scheduling could possibly be over in December or early January. I'd like to explain to council, if I haven't said this before, that when you're short, you have to pull from other departments of the police. And we only have one other department, which is the Detectives Bureau. So that is the department that we had to pull from. And the officer that is pulled, he is still assigned to his case. And if he's needed to work on that case, he can be released to do that. Because he's on road patrol, doesn't mean that he has nothing to do with the DB anymore. So I kind of wanted to clear that up. Because the statement was made that he's on the road Yes, he is on the road, but the agreement is that he will still be able to be involved in his cases. So if anyone has any questions about that. The next one is an update on the police search. And our facilitator is Joyce Parker. She'll be helping us through this process. And she received all the information for the profile. And we are going to set up a meeting for her to come and talk with council. So she is checking her schedule. As soon as she gets back to me with her schedule, we will schedule a meeting, maybe a working session with council, just to go over what she has come up with before we publish it. And that's it for my report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager. Next we have communications. So there's a memo for the Fire and Police Pension Board Pension Grant Program for us to review. Okay, and now we're back to public comment. Would anyone like to speak to council? Mr. Hughes.
Yes, Council, in order to make the city what it should be, everybody should be working together to make that happen. There should be no stones go unturned. There should be no comments ignored. If you see something, say something. This is my speech everywhere I go. Even in police departments. If you see something, say something. That's how you get things done. Now, I understand what I just heard, if you have to pull somebody out. But let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna give it to you real country. You cannot plow the mule and milk the cow at the same time. You can't do that. Too much things sit in between plowing that mule and milking that cow. So there is no way that a police officer that's working the road and detective department is going to be productive. So it's real frustrating. And somebody needs to take some action on that, because it's no way you can do it. You're going to end up losing everybody you got. You're going to end up losing folks that's really prominent to the department that can bring things into the department. You can't plow, y'all listen to the old man. You can't plow the mule and milk the cow at the same time. That's too much effort in that. He cannot be productive running the road and in the detection department. He can't do it. Y'all think about that. Put it to yourself. How many two can y'all do? Case closed. That's what the judge said.
Thank you. I'd like to reiterate that this is temporary.
Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Thank you. I just need to comment on this last issue. Really, I've been in the Detective Bureau for many years, 14 years, something. You cannot do two job descriptions at once. You can't work the road and work a homicide case. You can't do it. He's working 12-hour shifts. You know, he's working Monday, Tuesday, off Wednesday, Thursday, working Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We want him to work Wednesday, Thursday on the homicide. We have to go to other cities to investigate things that are issues with that case. And I think that, I guess he should make working sergeants. If you have command officers, why can't they go take domestic reports and take reports and type reports and stuff like that? That's another alternative that some of the road patrol officers have brought up to me that they would like to see, because that would help them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to speak to that, and I think I've already mentioned that here before, that we are going to hire civilians to take on some of those report writing things, to allow some of the officers and those sergeants to be freed up to do other things. So there's a lot of exciting new things that are occurring. They're just not visual at this point because everything takes time. The job description for those people is now in the HR department. And so we do expect that a posting will be coming out soon. But that is exactly one of the things that we want to do, is take some of those mundane, and I believe I mentioned that here, take some of those mundane things that tie up those command officers, take those away and allow, you know, a civilian position to do those, to free them up. And then we also have to think about the things that are in contracts, and we have to be mindful of those. And we're doing assignment. So we do agree that we need help, as other people, as other places, other municipalities are also seeking police officers. So we're not in a unique position by ourselves, but we are being creative. We are aggressively recruiting. And so, as I said before, this won't last forever. And we're hoping that with the recruiting that we're doing and the people that we're looking at, that we will, we may be out of this situation come December.
Thank you, City Manager. Is there anyone else? Mr. Chris?
Thanks for the opportunity to come back. And I would never want to get into a debate with experts and learned staff about local rules and IBC and ICC and those sort of things. But I think it would also not be quite fair to make a characterization that somehow the city of Ann Arbor might be reckless in the way that they are interpreting the rules. And it doesn't mean that we need to be reckless as well. There are always different approaches. And I am very mindful that we are a community that is over 150 years old. And our HDC rules, our building codes, our enforcement reflect that. What might work in the new construction in Florida will not work in a 120-year-old home on South Adams. And so we have to have some flexibility. I think that's really what we're asking, is to look at the rules and regulations and make sure that we're doing it in a safe way. And another organization that has done it the same way that the city of Ann Arbor is CAL FIRE. CAL FIRE is the organization that oversees all fire inspections and regulations for the state of California. I think last time I checked, over 1,000 fire marshals and over 100,000 employees and staff all over throughout California, a huge organization. And of course, California leads the nation in solar installations, but Ypsilanti leads Michigan. And we need to be able to continue to be that leader. We set out to be the very first community that allowed solar in historic districts. And the work that the city manager and staff did became the model throughout the state for doing solar in historic districts. We can and should continue to be that leader. We can do this in a safe way, working with our fire department, working with the fire marshals, working with installers, working with insurance companies to make sure that we address this in a safe way. But right now, the requirement is 3 feet all the way around. And what CAL FIRE is doing and what City of Ann Arbor is doing is saying that a 3-foot access along one side of the panels and a 3-foot access across the top ridge line. Now, I add, it seems like just 3 feet doesn't seem that much, but it can add 50 to 60% more panels, especially on a small home. A big home, it's not a big deal, but on smaller homes, and that's what we're trying to focus on here in the community right now. This will really help. So I hope that we'll engage all of the partners in there with the building officials and with the city staff and city council to look at this issue. And be glad to talk to you further if you've got more things in. Way to go. And so on and so on. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address council?
I wasn't planning on Rex Ritchie again. I wasn't planning on addressing this, but the work that those guys have done in solar in this town, as you all know, is unbelievable. And I think that our building department can be a little flexible. I've known them to be a little unflexible, but I think in this particular case, they've got some wonderful people that know what they're doing. And that should be looked at, and solar is where we're going. Let's face it, we gotta do something, and I just wanted to say, give it a good look and work with them. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address council? Is anyone online?
If anyone online would like to make comment, please raise your hand now. No hands are raised.
All right, well, seeing that, I'll entertain the motion to adjourn. Member Jason.
Okay, resolution number 2022-271, resolve the council of the city of Ypsilanti. The city council meeting be adjourned on Albany. Members of council, I so move.
I know, we're adjourned. I know, we're adjourned.
You run a really good meeting. This is a short
Shut up.